Welcome to my Premier League 2022/23 score predictions. We are up to game week 10, and after a very interesting game week 9, let's just get straight in to my game week 10 score predictions, starting off with Bournemouth against Leicester City. Leicester managed to pick up their first victory of the season last week with a 4-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. Bournemouth got a 0-0 draw against Brentford. This one's being played at the Vitality Stadium, where Bournemouth have certainly, improved since their 9-0 smashing at Anfield. And Leicester City, I think now, can maybe go on and pick up some points now. They've picked up their first victory. They can maybe get some momentum going, and they can climb up the table now, get out of the relegation zone. But it will be tight because Bournemouth, as I have said, they've managed to turn their season around, and I will back both sides to score. I'll go for a 2-1 Leicester victory though in this one. The problem with Leicester hasn't been scoring goals; it's about conceding them, and they did manage to keep a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest, but their attack wasn't really the greatest the other night. But Bournemouth, on the other hand, I feel like they would give it more of a go, but I think Leicester, they've got something to hold on to now, and this is their chance to climb up the table. So I'll say they're going to pick up all 3 points again in a 2-1 away victory at the Vitality Stadium. Now, last time these two sides did face each other, it was a 4-1 victory to Bournemouth. So if you're going to go off that, then Leicester could be in for another smashing, but I don't think that'll be the case. And I say Leicester will pick up all 3 points in this one. Okay, next up we've got Chelsea against Wolverhampton Wanderers at Stamford Bridge in this one. Chelsea, with the first game under Graham Potter, they beat Crystal Palace 2-1 in their last game. Wolves, they lost 2-0 to West Ham United. And Bruno Lage now was sacked after that game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this game. New manager bounce maybe for Wolves. I mean, Wolves, they're normally quite a defensive side when they come up against the top teams, and they normally do a very good job of it. I mean, if you have a look at the past few games when Wolves have faced top 6 Premier League sides, it's always been narrow 1-0 victories to the obviously the opposition, but Chelsea themselves haven't really been scoring that many goals this season. They've been creating quite a few chances. They've got top quality players to do that. I'm going to go for the narrow 1-0 victory here. I think it'll kind of make sense, but I think Chelsea will just be a bit too strong for Wolves in this one, and they'll just narrowly pick up all 3 points. Okay, next up we've got Manchester City against Southampton. Manchester City beat Man United 6-3 in the Manchester derby in their last game, coming up against the Southampton side who have not won a game in their last 3, lost 2-1 to Everton in their last game, coming to the Etihad in this game. There's probably no chance for them. It's just a matter of how many Man City are going to score. I don't think Southampton will be able to score a goal, and I'm going to go for a 4-0 victory here. It's one of those games that they could, settle for a high scorer, or this could be the time for Southampton to get absolutely smashed 9-0 again. There's always a time in the season where that happens. They did it with Leicester, and same with Man United. So it could be one of those absolute, days where Man City just can't stop scoring. But I like to think that they'll maybe just calm things down. They've got Champions League football. They'll pick up all 3 points. They'll get a good result, and they'll just hold on to it. So I'll go 4-0 in this game. Next up, Newcastle United against Brentford, where Newcastle United finally picked up their second victory of the season after a long run of 6 games without a win, mainly all of them being draws. At home in this one, Brentford, a little bit shaky at the moment. They did have a great start to the season, Brentford, but I think now maybe it's just dropped off a bit now. A 0-0 draw with Bournemouth in their last game. Newcastle at home, as I did mention, it'll be a tough place to go, especially after Newcastle picked up all 3 points in a 4-1 away victory against Fulham in their last game. I'll back both sides to score, but I think Newcastle to win this game. I'll go 2-1. And then next up, we've got Brighton against Tottenham. This one will be a very good one. Brighton got a 3-3 draw against Liverpool at Anfield.
looking really good. Like, Graham Potter just hasn't left. I mean, I might even say that they're looking better. I mean, it was a 3-3 draw against, you could still say a pretty good side that can still score goals. It's still Liverpool at the end of the day. Against Tottenham in this one, it's another tough task for them, who did lose 3-1 in the North London derby in their last game, 3-1 defeat to Arsenal. Tottenham's defence just didn't really look, at it in that Arsenal game, and that's just making me think, if Brighton attack Tottenham like they did against Liverpool, they've got a very good chance of picking up something from this game. Of course, Antonio Conte will want a reaction from his Tottenham side. He's that kind of manager. He's a top-class manager, and he will definitely want to pick up some points here. I'm going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw in this one. Of course, there's some load of Brighton players to look out for. Loads of them putting in a really good performance. Mainly, the main one to give a mention to is Trossard, got the hat-trick against Liverpool. Pascal Gross has been another good player on form. And it's going to be a very interesting game, this one. Really looking forward to this one. And then next up, we have got Crystal Palace against Leeds United. Both sides not been on the greatest of runs. I'm going to back Crystal Palace to win this one. They're at home. I just fancy them in this game. Narrowly lost out to Chelsea in the 2-1 defeat. Leeds United got a 0-0 draw with Aston Villa in their last game. Just both sides just not picking up any wins recently, and I think both teams are due a win. So I'm going to back the home side in this one. It'll be tight, but I'll back them through it, and then we'll go on now to the London Stadium, where we've got West Ham United, who have picked up their second victory of the season against Fulham, where Fulham, you don't really know what to expect from them. I mean, they got smashed, you could say, by Newcastle in their last game, 4-1 defeat at home to Newcastle. At the London Stadium in this one, Fulham against London clubs, they've been very impressive so far. They narrowly lost 2-1 to Tottenham, narrowly lost 2-1 to Arsenal, and they have picked up some very impressive victories so far this season. So I am going to go with a little bit of a shock result in this one, and I'm going to say Fulham will win this one 2-1. Mitrovic to get on the scoreline. Not scored recently, but now's the time for him to get back on that scoreline. West Ham United, you just don't know what you're going to get from them. They've been poor this season. They've also been really good. And, seeing that they were, fighting for that European spot last season, and to see where they are now, it's, just a massive surprise. So you don't know what you're going to get from them this season, and maybe West Ham are back to their old ways now, where they're going to be fighting with relegation. I'll go 2-1, Fulham away, winning this one. And then we have got another massive one with Arsenal against Liverpool. This one is going to be a big one for Liverpool. They need all 3 points in this one to really have any chance to have a go at Man City for the title this season. But let's not forget Arsenal, with the start that they have had, they'll be going for the title as well. Only lost the one game so far. The rest of them have all been wins. The defeat did come to Manchester United now, which does make me think that Liverpool do have a chance to pick up a victory against Arsenal. They are at the Emirates in this one, which is going to be a little bit tough, considering Arsenal have just scored 3 goals there against Tottenham. Arsenal's defence themselves, it wasn't as worse as Tottenham's, but it still looked something not right in there. I'll go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw in this one, and I think both sides will be happy with the point in this one, although both sides will be going into this game wanting all 3, but I think it will just be the fairest result here, and I'm going to back a draw in this one. And then we've got another tight one, Everton against Man United at Goodison Park. Manchester United normally just completely have a breakdown in this stadium, and they always go in as favourites and they always come out as like losers. They lost 6-3 in the Manchester derby. We all know that in their last game. Everton, stringing some good results together now. I mean, they beat Southampton 2-1 in their last game, not lost in their last 6 games. Against Man United, though, who will one to bounce back from that defeat. They did score 3 goals, so it's not like, I don't know. It's a bit like Leicester, isn't it? They're still scoring the goals. They're just conceding at the same time. Everton is not your Manchester City, so I do think Man United will pick up all 3 points in this one. I'm going to back Everton to score, but I'm going to go for a 3-1 away victory to Man United in this game, which leads us on to the final game of Game Week 10, which is Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa. I mean, this one's going to be, another game down there at the bottom of the table. Aston Villa maybe have a chance to turn their season around. They do need a victory in this one, though, after picking up a 0-0 draw against Leeds United in the last game. Nottingham Forest, we know they lost 4-0 to Leicester. And, well, really, this is Steve Cooper's last chance at the City ground in here. They need a victory. They do need a result. And I just don't think it's going to come. I don't think they'll score. I think it'll be 2-0 Aston Villa. I mean, Nottingham Forest, they have scored the goal at the City ground. And this might be a bit of a stupid prediction, not backing Nottingham Forest to at least get 1 goal in their own ground. But again, with Aston Villa, they have been conceding goals. So, that does make it up for a good game. But I do think Aston Villa in this one will, they got a clean sheet against Leeds. They'll want to just build on that. They need 3 points. Steven Gerrard's job is at risk as well as Steve Cooper's. So I do think just the performance from Aston Villa will be just too much for Nottingham in this game. So I'll finish off with a 2-0 away victory to Villa in this one, which wraps up my Game Week 10 score predictions. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.